Good Tuesday morning to you. Thanks for joining us on KARE 11 News Now. I'm Michelle Beck. Happening today, a critical meeting between North Minneapolis business owners and state lawmakers involving the Blue Line extension. Neighborhood leaders are worried about the years-long construction and say some businesses may not survive. The line will eventually connect several cities going right through North Minneapolis, and for years some businesses will be disrupted or may have to close due to that construction. Audrey Russo is live ahead of this morning's meeting and what's expected to happen.
Yeah, at 10:15, there's going to be a meeting. This is going to be a public listening meeting in the event room of Broadway Flats. But before that starts at 10:15, there's going to be a tour here of West Broadway. And you can see there's businesses behind me and all the way down the street. Business owners are trying to impress upon lawmakers that building the Blue Line extension here could shutter their stores permanently. Now, construction is set to begin in 2027, particularly here on West Broadway. Now, business owners fear that the construction would drive patrons away from the already financially struggling North Minneapolis neighborhood. All in all, the extension would connect downtown Minneapolis to Brooklyn Park, and it's expected to cost about $3 billion. Lawmakers say with a price tag that size, they want to make sure they get it right.
I think a top priority for us in the Transportation Committee is to make sure that the dollars that we have in our trust are used most effectively to get people to where they want to go in the modes that they want to go, and that we do that in a responsible manner.
Now, many of the businesses in this neighborhood are minority owned. Now, a project spokesperson says they've held more than 900 meetings, exactly like the one that's going to be happening at 10:15 today, where they solicit feedback from the impacted communities. And they say that they've worked hard to listen to they've worked diligently, actually, to listen to a wide range of voices. So today is just another continuation of that process. Back to you.
And right now, St. Paul police are still out looking for suspects after 4 men were shot in the Dayton's Bluff neighborhood. It happened yesterday afternoon around 4:30 at 4th and Earl Streets. Police say they found 2 of the victims at that intersection and 2 others behind a home about a block away. We know all 4 are expected to survive. We've been checking with authorities all morning long and still haven't been updated on any arrests. We can tell you police don't believe there's any threat to the public. A guilty plea this morning from the former Minneapolis Chamber of Commerce CEO Jonathan Weinhagen for stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars from the organization he once led. Weinhagen admitted he stole more than $213,000 from the chamber, money that originated from Minneapolis businesses. Prosecutors say the fraud dates back to 2019 as Weinhagen used an alias and a fake company to funnel money from the chamber to his personal accounts. Weinhagen resigned from the chamber last year and could spend 2 to 3 years in prison. More witnesses are expected to take the stand today in the pretrial hearing for the man accused of shooting United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Luigi Mangioni's team is asking a judge to keep evidence found in his backpack out of his trial. His attorneys argue officers illegally searched the bag when Mangioni was arrested in Pennsylvania last year. In court yesterday, they also reviewed surveillance video and a 911 call from the McDonald's where police arrested him. And this morning, we're learning the U.S. Treasury Department is investigating allegations that stolen Minnesota tax money was diverted to fund a Somalia-based terror group. In a post last night, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent claims the money may have gone to al-Shabaab, sharing a report this month from the City Journal published by a conservative think tank. Governor Walz has said he welcomes a federal investigation into fraud in state programs, including Feeding Our Future. New fallout this morning after the Trump administration confirmed it struck an alleged drug boat twice off the coast of Venezuela, while saying the order did not come from Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. And now bipartisan lawmakers are launching hearings, pressing for more information as some question if the administration's actions were legal. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest from Washington.
Hi there. Lawmakers have long had questions about the administration's boat strikes, pressing for evidence all the boats were, in fact, carrying drugs. And now this double strike is ramping up bipartisan pressure. President Trump huddling into the night in the Oval Office with his national security team after the administration confirmed it hit an alleged drug smuggling boat twice back in September off Venezuela. A U.S. official and a source familiar with the Pentagon's actions tell NBC News the second strike was ordered after the first failed to kill everyone on board. The White House saying Admiral Frank Bradley, not Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, ordered the second hit.
Admiral Bradley worked well within his authority and the law. He directed the engagement to ensure the boat was destroyed and the threat of narco-terrorists to the United States was completely eliminated.
Admiral Bradley is overseeing a ramped-up U.S. military presence in the Caribbean, part of the Trump administration's fight against drug traffickers.
The president has made it quite clear that if narco-terrorists, again, are trafficking illegal drugs towards the United States, he has the authority to kill them.
The use of a so-called double tap is raising serious questions among lawmakers in both parties, with some saying that targeting incapacitated survivors after the first hit could be a war crime.
I'm going to look into this very, very diligently and appropriately because there is the possibility of illegal activity by the armed forces.
The Senate Armed Services Republican chair saying classified oversight hearings could begin as soon as this week.
We're able to see videos and see what the orders were. We'll have a lot more information.
Promising a bipartisan push to get to the facts. Defense Secretary Hegseth is putting the responsibility for the second strike on Admiral Bradley while saying he stands by him and the combat decisions he's made, calling him an American hero. In Washington, I'm Alice Barr. Back to you.
A battle of words between President Trump and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz is escalating after the president attacked Somali immigrants over the weekend. In a Truth Social post on Thanksgiving, President Trump claimed refugees from Somalia were, quote, completely taking over Minnesota and blamed Walz. In the process, Trump described the governor with a term that's offensive to people with intellectual disabilities. On NBC's Meet the Press this weekend, Walz blasted Trump's language in his attacks on the Somali community. It comes just a little more than a week after Trump vowed to end a program for a small number of Somalis in the country under temporary protected status, citing fraud cases in Minnesota.
Demonizing an entire community, folks who are in the professions, educators, artists, doctors, lawyers, entrepreneurs. They bring the diversity and the energy to a place like Minnesota.
Late Sunday night, Trump defended his attack on Walz and the Somali community, saying of Walz, quote, there's something wrong with him. Developing this morning, the second National Guardsman shot in D.C. last week is improving. 24-year-old Andrew Wolf is now in serious condition, showing signs of improvement. The governor of West Virginia announced he gave a nurse a thumbs up when asked if he could hear and wiggled his toes. 20-year-old Sarah Beckstorm was killed in that shooting. Big news from the Minnesota Vikings this morning. Adam Thielen, the return is over. He asked to be released by the team, and they are letting him go. He posted on social media saying, this is not how any of us imagined this to go. He thanked the fans, saying Minnesota will always be our home, and we are incredibly grateful to everyone who welcomed him back in August. But he says he wants to finish his career this season, where his playing will have a bigger impact.
Adam also acknowledged, look, Speedy's playing great, and Jordan and Jets are Jordan and Jets, so he kind of, there was zero, Adam and I talk a lot, there was zero, negativity to the conversations. It was more so the competitor in him, and he wants to, finish this thing off the right way.
And turning now to our Toys for Tots drive. This morning, we are kicking off our big toy drive, Toys for Tots, something we've been doing at KARE 11 for more than 30 years. Every holiday, we team up with the Marines to help make a kid happy this holiday season, and we need your help more than ever. So here is how you can help. Make a cash donation, which will help the Marines purchase a toy, or you can do the purchasing and dropping it off yourself. There's more than 700 drop boxes across the region to help you out. In fact, fact, you can come to KARE 11 right now to drop off a toy. We're at the corner of Highway 55 and General Mills Boulevard. The Marines will be here to accept your donations every day through the 18th, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Now, the Marines already have thousands of toy donations. Volunteers will help sort those out and get them to families in need. Nonprofits have till Sunday to make toy requests. We have that application linked at kare11.com right now. And here's something to consider if you're purchasing a gift. Older kids, like those ages 10 and up, often see less gifts at this drive. So we're told they would love electronics like speakers and headphones. Stick with us. More news and weather coming up after the break.